Hi, I'm Ben, co-founder of KRU, and this is my personal story. So I'm 35, I'm from the Midlands, based in the UK. I'm engaged to my fiancée, Robbie, and I'm also the COO of a technology company who supports charities to raise as much money as possible. But my life hasn't always been like this, and I want to share a little bit more about my journey so far. So growing up, one of my big influences and inspiration was, without a doubt, my mum. My mum has been through an awful lot in her life. She's had a lot of loss. So when I was younger, her two brothers passed away, unfortunately, together in a tragic car accident. And her mum died when she was just a little girl as well. But around that time, there was also so much loss in our family. So I got to see the first real effects of what that can do and how it affects you mentally as well. But around that same time, my mum unfortunately met a man that really did a lot to our lives. He did things with manipulation, mind games, cheating, you name it, it happened. But it was over a very long period of time, and it was when I could first really see how damaging another human being can be to another person, and how it can be quite hidden, and it can be something that can be easily missed when looking from the outside. But I got to really see what that does mental health wise, and you know, to be really honest, it's where I got to see my mum hit absolute rock bottom, and I was so worried about her, and it did have a lasting effect on both of our lives. But what she did is that she all of a sudden managed to find this crazy amount of strength, and she left him. But not only did she leave him, she also prospered, and she had an amazing career. She showed her leadership skills and her absolutely unbelievable drive, which is one of my big inspirations today. But around that same time is when I started to develop probably a bad relationship with food. Because remember, in the 90s, people didn't really know what you were eating and what was bad and what was good. So my granddad, did bring us up, and he was from a different generation, and I wasn't eating the best food. So I started to put on a lot of weight, didn't feel great about myself, and I also, at a very young age, became a heavy smoker. But around at the same time was when I started to realise about the way that my mind worked. Because when I was a child, I heard that I was really challenging. But even as a teenager, my mind was at 10,000 miles an hour, and people still say it is today, but it is different. But I couldn't focus. I was always just so high energy all the time, and it meant that I left school without a single qualification. I haven't got a GCSE to my name, and many people around me were thinking, what's going to happen to him? And what I did is I left school, I went and did a lot of different jobs. I got sacked from McDonald's, and around the same time I thought, you've got to do something now. So I went abroad, I became a holiday rep, spent 2 years abroad, and it was amazing. I partied very hard, but it showed me independence and showed me how to be, how to be an adult. I came home, and like so many of us in your early 20s, you have this desperate need to be in a relationship. And I ended up getting into a relationship that I shouldn't have done, because I wanted him to be a person he was never going to be. And it meant that over those few years that we were together, we started to dislike each other a little bit. I put on more weight, and I really lost a lot of my self-worth, and I lost a bit about who I actually am. I remember at one point when things got really low, we were that poor, even though I actually had an okay job, we couldn't even afford a bag of chips one night, or fries if you're in America. And it's around that point that I thought, I'm never going to let this happen to me again, like ever. I'm never going to let myself get that low. So I learnt a lot, the relationship ended, and I've had other relationships along the way, but it made me stronger and stronger. I also managed to start to really hone in on what my skill set was, and realise that you don't have to have a degree or even qualifications to do it, because I'm a big advocate of it. But even when that happens, you can still be a success. So I managed to find my leadership skills, realise the things that I can do to support companies, and I started to really grow. And through all of this, I was still always really struggling with my weight, doing every single diet you can imagine. But I managed to meet my partner now, Robbie, and it's one of the best things that's ever happened to me in my life. On our first date, he asked me if he wanted children, so he obviously must have thought it was going somewhere. And for the last few years we've been together, I always knew that Robbie really wanted to be a parent, and so do I. But what we've decided to do, after looking at every option, is we are now foster parents. We've just had our first placement not very long ago, 2 amazing girls, and we absolutely loved it, and we're really hoping that we can support and help as many children as we possibly can to grow. So it's something that we're both immensely proud of. But around this same time as well, we've been going through COVID-19, and I decided to take a different path. I decided, you know what, things are really tough, but I decided to actually take control of my health and actually really start to look after myself. So over the last 6 months, I've lost a considerable amount of weight, as you'll see on screen. I work out about 4 or 5 times a week, and I found that actually I really love health and I really love fitness. I also love the job that I do, but this is one of the reasons that Fit KRU is so important to me, because I believe that storytelling is really important, and it's important to share the struggles that we are going through or have gone through, because it can help you realise that you're not alone. So Fit KRU is really important to me, and I'm going to share more and more about my journey over the coming years, but hopefully you've understood me a little bit better, and thank you for watching.